Oh,
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Kings and a Queen podcast. Today, we're diving into a conversation that's been sparking debates for years: modern love versus old school standards. We'll explore what's changed in dating, what stayed the same, and whether there's still a sweet spot between tradition and evolution in relationships. From courtship to cohabitation, gender roles to generational shifts, we're breaking it all down tonight on Unfiltered Kings and a Queen podcast. So, obviously, I'm going to be the moderator tonight, Diana. I have my co host, Jay and GQ. Guys,
What
go
it
ahead and
do?
tell
What
them
it
how you're
do?
doing this evening, and then we'll dive right in.
man, Frank, I feel like this gonna be one of them that we gonna either gain some followers or we gonna lose some
Ooh,
followers.
son, wow. Yeah.
Hey,
It's
and I
gonna be
think
one
it's
of
gonna be amongst gaps, man. So I'm interested in seeing, man, who all chime in as always. I'm ready to hear from the
everyone know.
audience, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
so let,
same
let
here.
let's go, man. I'm ready to. And then I gotta see what the queen got cooking. She was a little selective in our little debriefing. So let's tread lightly. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what she got.
Yeah.
Already.
Okay. So, opening up the floor, I have a two-part question, right? To both UJ and GQ,
Right
obviously.
on.
So, my first question is, when you hear old school love, what comes to mind for you? Like, what's the first image, story, or example that pops up? Let me know if I need to repeat it a little slower.
Hmm.
Or if I need to repeat it again, let me know. I can do that too.
First thing that pops up,
Yeah, when you hear old school love.
shoot, my grandparents, shoot. It's always the
Oh,
first thing.
Yeah,
Always the first thing that pop up, man. You know, that's like rare air. You know what I'm saying? Uh, nowadays, it's very hard to find. I wouldn't say very hard to find, but you very rarely hear people staying together for 40 something years, 50 something years, you know what I'm saying? That long a time, whether it be true love or just toleration, you know.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
know, when I think of that, I automatically go to grandparents, yo.
yeah. And I was thinking along those lines of those descriptive words. Like I thought of simple. I did think of longevity. Um, um, yeah, just simple, just easy. Like those were the words that came. Like my mind did go to my parents and grandparents also, but like far as it's almost like an age, right? Like the Renaissance era. Like when you think about man, dressed up, nice and whatnot. Like that's what really came to mind. Like Frank said, longevity. Well, no breaking up. Well, no, I mean it was there, right? But I mean, family. You know what I'm saying? Like it was what we locked in, and then it was just simple, man. Like even when I was little, like the yes, no, maybe so, Frank. I know I'm probably dating myself. It was just yes, no, maybe so. You get that yes, y'all locked in like tougher than some grown ups. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
what comes to my mind. Really.
Oh, that
Hey,
old
you don't know
school,
nothing
no.
about them, but you like it.
Old
Yeah,
school, no.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I hear, you both talking about you're thinking about like your grandparents and them being together for you know 40, 50 something years. So when you think about the time that your grandparents were together, I mean, what do you think is really what kind of kept them, I guess, going along for that longevity, that long period of time? Um, what do you think back then kept them going that nowadays I guess won't really suffice?
So I think with me, because that's why I was trying to answer the question. I was like, well, it's pros and cons, right, with everybody. But
Yeah,
to me,
right.
like like today, it's easy to leave. It's quick to leave over anything. Like back then, real problems unfolded, but they unfolded together, right? And kind of like Frank alluded to, even if there was some understanding in the negative way, if that makes sense, but it was like there was a togetherness, like we in this together, right? Like if we struggling together, we in this together. Like today, it's the bailout, or you think about somebody that been with 5 or 6 people looking for the same thing. Where back then it was almost, you did accept that bad. It was like, man, look, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna just rock it out for the family value, good, better, and different was more there. And I just think that the desire to stay, I think that's the biggest thing, the desire to stay and work it out versus, so if you say something wrong, you look at me wrong because I know there's another option that's gone. And then I think even the values, and I want to get ahead of myself, I think the values made families stay together longer, right? Because if you see everybody just leaving, and nobody working nothing now, and again, good, bad, and indifferent, shit, you learn that, it's like, guess what? It's an easy bailout. So I think even families were strong because you knew it was about the people. I guess that's what I'm saying. It wasn't about the things. Even if we didn't handle the things correctly, we're gonna see it through. So that's what I think.
Frank, do you got anything to add to that?
Man, I always say it, man. Different generations, man. And I alluded to it kind of when I said whether it was love or tolerance. Some people can't stay nowadays. Some people can't stay with that person just out of toleration alone, or
Right.
for the sake of the kids, or you know what it is now. It's the sake of keeping up appearances, and keeping up with the Joneses, faking the funk, contractual. Because believe it or not, cats, some especially like rich people, man, they probably out here like, yeah, we married, but they ain't been together, and I don't know how long. It's just contractual. It's just keeping up appearances. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a key thing, and in some instances, it's not a bad thing, because why would you stay somewhere where you just trying to just tolerate? But it was still nuances back then that, yeah, it might look like it was tolerated, but them two knew each other in and out. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, or what the outward appearance may seem, the inward thought was, hey, I still love this person. You feel me?
And Dan, if I can just throw this in there, I think we easily label it as tolerance to justify our quickness in leaving in today's society, but it really was some form of conflict resolution. Now, whether it was correct or we worked it out, but there was a genuine attempt to work out this resolution. The ultimate goal was us being together. So there was an attempt to come. It may end in intolerance, but I think there was a more conscientious effort to resolve what problems that came up instead of just kind of throwing them away.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So thank you for both of your examples and definitions of what you feel, or what you view for the old school love. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you, my version of old school love in 5 stages, right? So the first stage, right, I believe is like intentional courtship, right? So that's basically like you taking the time to get to know someone before calling a relationship, right? Consistent phone calls, not just texts, right? Handwritten notes, and just showing up for each other in whatever ways you show up. And then also both parties putting in effort, because we know effort always goes a long way, right? So then let's go into respect and boundaries. Mutual respect, right? Whether it's in speech and or actions. No public disrespect, no belittling, no throwing hands, no none of that, And then talking things out instead of letting your pride keep you silent. We all know that a lot of times when we are trying to have certain conversations, sometimes some things might go over one party's head, and then instead of kind of like talking it out, you kind of just go silent and the conversation kind of just ends there. So being able to talk it out and not let your pride and your ego kind of get in the way of the scenario, and then also protecting the relationship from outside opinions, you know, because obviously in the modern world, right, social media is so accessible, and it's so much it's so accessible that like the minute you post your boo or whoever on there, and 10 people done been with them, they, you know, and there's just so many things that, you know, making your relationship known can do. So being able to not allow the outside world kind of affect what you have going on, which obviously this day alone, people, you know, will let what's happening outside enter in the inside, then it just blows up your whole space. And then shared quality time, right? So obviously making your house a home, right? Dinner at home together instead of like we on our phones, like you scrolling TikTok and I'm on Facebook, like just being kind of like in the moment, right? Another old school thing was like dancing, right? Whether it's in your kitchen, your dining room area, you got the slow jams music on, and you just vibing and kind of like, you know, enjoying each other's and enjoying each other, you know, in that space. And then also just creating moments, right? Instead of just going out and buying a Coach purse or, you know, whatever people do to, yeah, whatever on the T app screaming, whatever people do to, you know, kind of spark, you know, their relationships materialistically, instead of, again, putting the effort in to just create a moment, you know, kind of, you know, in your time together, right? So then loyalty and commitment, right? You guys both spoke about, you know, your the generations, the shift in generations, where back in the day, you know, they've been together 30, 40, 50 years, right? So sticking it through, right, through the ups and downs, not jumping ship when things get hard. Obviously this day and age, you know, you can just jump from one person to another, you know, so whatever, everything's hard. So it's so easy now to just be like, well, you know what, this ain't working, so I'm gonna go, you know, offset and go and go be with somebody else, right? Being each other's safe place, right? Which is so key and so important, to be able to be a safe space for your partner. I think that that's extremely important. And I think, you know, old school love, it was very important because whatever happened in home, you know, as far as the relationship, it wasn't nowhere to go other than to your partner, because that was essentially your safe space. And then celebrating wins together and helping each other grow. That's my take on what old school love kind of looks like to me, and hoping that it carries over into the now love, the modern love, right? Yeah, I
And
want peace, not just a piece. Screaming. Okay.
you know, Diana, as you was giving that description, you know, I want to qualify some, because if I see anybody come at my sis, I'm gonna have to cut you up. We're not saying that there was right and wrong in both versions, right? So let's not. We're not saying one is more important. We know that, but I think to your point, as I thought about what you as you was giving your list, it's almost like a domino effect, right? Like if that first one don't fall, like if we don't have a common interest for the right thing, and I think that was the huge thing, is like you really want to be with somebody, right?
Right.
Like you had to choose to, you know, think about big families, you know, where, you know, you had a lot of children and blended family. Like you had to choose to show up. And so that first domino had to be there, as opposed to these days, in some situations, just, you know, like we was talking about in our debriefing, just for a free meal, or, you know, like Boston said, just for a piece. Well, after you get there, there's no staying power, right? And then you talked about doing things together, but part of doing something together was also going through things together. These days, if it's just not the traditional, go to the movies, go out to eat, you don't have no knowledge of what it is to what to do when you run into those conflicts. Back in the day, them thing was almost every day. So when it went hit rough patches, you was just like, okay, you was prepared for it. You know, it's just like, let's get to it to get through it, so to speak. So I think that was a great analogy of a domino effect, as far as looking at like what's really missing, what's the really comparison. We're not saying that they didn't have their problems and they was always correct, but I think that first thing, like you said, they were into each other. You know what I'm saying? Which set up all the other things you talked about.
Yeah. So when I'm listing my 5 things, it's not to say that, obviously anything wrong. The question was, when you hear old school love, what comes to mind? The question wasn't, when you
Right.
hear old school love, bring negativity. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, back in the day,
Mm,
we all know Daddy Papa was Rolling Stone. You feel me? So that is just what you picture when you think
right.
of old school love. I mean, obviously it's not rocket science, right? But it's obvious that we're not speaking on like everything, it's positive, everything is roses and sunshines, but that was the question, and that's essentially what you're answering. There's obviously there's cons to any love, you know what I'm saying? Love is hard, love is work. So but I don't think you needed to elaborate that, honestly. You could have just let that go over, and then whoever would have said whatever they said, we would have just, it's okay. It would have been okay. Honestly, that's just my take on it. But moving along, we're gonna talk about courtship and then communication, right? So basically, we're gonna talk about old school, right? Handwritten letters, phone calls, planned dates, and then modern texting, DMs, dating apps, right? Is one better or is it just different? So Jay, you can go off. You can go off first.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. Being rough patch with y'all. I like Kenneth. He funny.
Let me get
He's
a boss
hilarious.
stick. Back in the day, when you had a rough patch, it was just y'all now posting
No.
your relationships
Mm-hmm.
outside. Post on, and I think he
Yep.
kind of leads up to that actual point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like we said before, there are ways you can use technology and all that in good ways, but I think the overuse and the misuse of it is where you don't get the organic and the genuineness like Boston speaks of.
Yeah.
Now I just think it's almost replacing the tangible, I mean the intangibles, right? Like
Yeah.
it's more transactional, you post this here, it's all transactional, um relationship status and all that. It takes away, to me, like back in the day, it's almost like you weren't worried about that because you was working on it, like
Right.
you were working on it in real life. But now, because social media is such a great presence, yes, it can be a great way to meet people also, but I think when it replaces those human transactions, when you talk about things of texting and things of that sort, you know, back in the day, it was special to be able to just talk on the phone with somebody that you like. Like, think about it. You waited to talk on the phone, right? To hear their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how you doing? Good morning. Like it's so watered down. That's the word that I'm looking for. So it's like, yeah,
Okay.
you can use it, but I think these days it's just oversaturated to where even it's just transactional. It's no
Mm-hmm.
feeling behind it. There's no follow up behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for that, Jay. What's up, Frankie? What you got?
Like, same way, like I said, man. Especially in these social media streets, like Boston said, man. Everybody in a rough patch with you. Everything ain't for social media. And then, again, that comes back to all the contractual stuff, content creators, all this. You know what I'm saying? You look at a video, you see a post, you see this, and then you sitting there, is it real or is it fake? You know what I'm saying? But the only thing they doing is they trying to get you to comment on it. You know what I'm saying? But people like put genuine stock into what they see on this app, on these apps, and on social media. Take it to heart, you know. And
Yeah.
so now, I think we talked about this Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's the fascination. You're enamored with something, that isn't realistic, but you're just infatuated with this person or this body type or what you're seeing for face value, and then when both people get together, they're not even compatible.
Right.
So basically, just wasted time and energy, But you chasing something that you were infatuated with. Yeah,
And then also, Dan, I was listening to what Frankie said. Even these days, we get our examples, right? Like I be seeing people talking about, I guess, famous people or what. Like these are characters. They're not real people. I mean, and some people, like Frank said, get so invested. You know, back in the day, you went to the pastor, you went to your home, but not someone close in the family to try to get advice. Nowadays, like these are strangers. These are characters, and we know more about their business than we trying to work on the person sitting right next to us. So it's kind of like you said, you know, I'm on this phone here, you on this phone over here, but we subconscious are constantly learning from, you know, just like right now, what Travis Hunter and his wife is going through, like, that's them people business. Like, where your house at? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I think that's another big contract where back in the day you had more opportunity where you were dealing with people in just those traditional terms, like talking it out, interacting out, going over to each other's house and things of that sort, versus now everything's on the screen now. Even with people you don't know.
And let's keep it real too, man. It's back then it was man, hard work. You had to do some real digging, investigative reporting. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, though, Harvey and all these other people, the Zeus Network chick, man, they pay big bread for secrets, for
Yeah.
photos, for this, that. Even if a person, especially a celebrity, even if they wanted to stay private, ain't no way. And then you got people out there telling like, well, you should have been a celebrity. God,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
But I remember there were times when my grandparents, they actually turned the TV off. So in other words, they intentionally blocked out these, and they had, for better for it, they had that family time. Like it was a game, a talk, you know, even like even with my mother, like we would sing, you know, kind of like you were alluding to, like we had that personal interaction time. And I think that's another thing that we're losing down is like we're so used to social media and electronics that there is no real human element. There is an expectation of what I want your reaction to be. Whereas in the past, you had to, you know, that TV go off and y'all all sitting around, you had to interact with each other, you know?
Yeah.
And mama told me to sing a Michael Jackson song, which I love Michael Jackson, but I didn't want to sing. But guess what? And before you know it, as tense as I was, now the family laughed, like you had those real human interactions. Whereas now you do all through, there's no feeling in texting, right? There's no like button. What that mean? Love, what does that mean, right? So I think that's a huge difference, man, where, you know, we want the reaction, but we literally don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So where's the balance between modern love and old school standards? Because on one hand, we're living in a time of dating apps, instant messages, and I'm busy culture. On the other hand, there are still people who want the slow build love story, the consistent courting, the traditional role. So how do we find the middle ground, or do we even want to? How do we find the middle ground, or do we even want to?
I believe it's middle ground. I believe too, even with a dating app, guess what you still gonna have to do? You still gonna have to get to know that person. So the old school way is still deep in them trenches. You know, some things ain't no getting around. You know what I'm saying? It's only so much you can put on that profile. So many words can be typed on that page to where y'all gonna have to meet face to face. Hell, I guess even that FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? But you still gonna have to get to know the person. I believe that is one thing that won't change.
Right.
The only thing is, and this, whether it be old school or new school, again, it falls back into the getting enamored or infatuated or you know, uh, you always, people have to stop trying to mirror certain couples or certain couples or marriages. You know, yours is not going to be like Russell Wilson and Sierra. It's not going to be you know, like any other celebrity, or you're not going to get the same women as a Michael B. Jordan, or you're not going to get the same man as a Michael B. Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people set themselves up for failure from the get go. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the new age, like we're talking about, speed dating, dating apps,
Mm-hmm.
swipe left, swipe this, you know, hell. And this is a consistent word. People have been catfishing people since the beginning of the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sitting there looking at one photo and you ain't got the other apps to vet, run that picture through to see if it's a
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah.
Look up, you looking at somebody and they tell you, yeah, that picture was from 13 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But I think still that's the only thing that will always be deep rooted in relationships is getting to know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you slice it, you're gonna have to take that time and get some face time.
Yeah.
And ask some questions. You know,
Absolutely.
So before I get my response, we got Nikita Gill. I think she's new.
What's up, girl? Hey, sis, Nikita.
She said she believes it's on the people that choose to shut out the noise and keep it just about them. Keep your focus on what they have going on if they are serious about being with each other. And Nikita, if I'm pronouncing that correct, she stole my thunder because I think like you can say all this nice and nuanced stuff, but ultimately, which one of those columns do you want to be in? Right, like we said, even in the back, if Granddaddy stepped out, guess what? He chose that. If Big Mama decided to stay, she chose like they knew what it was. I think the danger of the day is when one trying to act like the other. You see what I'm saying? When one can just do the things of the other, and then it's like you have to ask that question, but you don't trust it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like, okay, if you want real love, then guess what? Attach yourself to people out there. If you just want to play the game and things of that sort, then hey, do that, right? But when you just cross it, and I think that's the problem a lot of times today, like we know what to do. Like we were talking on Tuesday. Oh, we go out and we supposed to go out and eat. Well, you're going out to eat because you want something from the woman. Like, well, okay. So it's more transactional.
Yeah.
Sugar says, are we grooming our kids to be in a relationship? Girls to wives and boys to husbands. Boy, I could run right on that one. I remember when we were used to play house. Come on, house. You know what I mean? House sometimes led the doctor, but I'm gonna be quiet. I remember when we used to play house, we would say, I will be the mother, and somebody would say, I'm going to be the father, and we acted like we were adults who was doing it excellent, right?
Yeah. Playing house. Absolutely.
And what we got to do, we got to normalize when we talk about this stuff. Because again, some of the new coaches will laugh at this and whatnot to justify. That's why I mean a while ago. Hey, don't tear down quickly just to justify what you want to do. Just go find somebody who wants that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
This is a culture where at a young age, we understood what mama, daddy, nurturing. Your sisters took care of the brothers trying to protect the sisters. So when you went to your second community, appreciate that. Nikita, she said, hey, sis, Nikita Fairby, it's some men on her too. So
yeah, hey sis.
That hey sis, that how you little old comments don't make it. And I did say, look, if I had to get on that soapbox right there, two whole fellas right here. She gonna hey sis, okay.
Sis, haters gonna hate. Just ignore them, sis.
Hey, call it what it is for the fella, Frank. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But no, thank you for feeding because that's what I was thinking about. Like all these things, like I said, that domino effect. You learn these things good, bad, and indifferent, and it brought a certain result. Now we trying to skip that because we selfish. So even if you ask somebody on a date or you're knowing them, hey, what do you want? Like there are dudes and women out there. If you want sex or you just want that's that. But what's happening, you're damaging the pool of people looking for good because I know how to play the game. I know how to do the presentation, and I'm knowing that's not what I signed up for. Right? If you want to date, couple dates, then y'all do date. But if you want someone to court to get the note, man, be that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So obviously, so far in, we're having an amazing leeway with what we're all talking about. But I forgot to define old school standards. So let me go ahead and run that back, and then I'll ask you a question based off of the definition of old school standards, right? So old school standards, right? What they looked like: clear courting and effort before intimacy. Define gender roles: provider, nurturer, protector. Commitment before cohabitation. Community and family approval as part of the process. So, with everything that I just said to you all, which of these do you think still hold value today, and which do you feel are outdated?
Mm.
Let me get Nikita right quick. I just want to get her. I put a what with that. It's tricky too because you can groom your kids, but they grow up and decide to do that. Yeah, you're right. Like we said, no guarantees, but at least there's more there you can take away.
Right, absolutely.
To answer your question, Diana, I really think what made those things impactful because it was more of a human experience versus now it's all through, electronic. There's no emotion,
absolutely.
There's no nuance. Like if I say I love you, if I text, there's no feeling to that. Versus if you going through something, y'all came out through it, and Big Mama turned to dad. Oh, watch this. It was not even said. I remember being a shorty sitting around my grandparents, and you really could feel it. Like, going through something, you would think like, man, nowadays you got to feel good by how much money you spend going out, like to just feel that. Sometimes you just sitting around and you went through, somebody went to the hospital and came back out, y'all back at home, and you could just feel, damn, I love you. I'm glad you back. You felt that as a little shorter. So when the kid was talking, I think Sugar was talking about playing house. That's what you tried to emulate. So when you try to emulate that, most times when you look for your mate, it's reciprocal. You see how that works? So to me, it's about, man, like Frankie said, bottom line, let's get back to the human element. I think that's the first domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. Hey, appreciate that, Nikita. What's up? You know what I'm saying? And Sugar, hey, love you, mom. Appreciate you commenting. But yeah, like Nikita said, sometimes it gets tricky.
Yeah.
I think me and Jay have plenty of conversations. I think all three of us have plenty of conversations about this, but Jay brings it up a lot. Now, when people say, you want that old school type of love or this, that, and the other, be careful now. Hey, granddaddy, great granddaddy, they had more than one household, some of them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's neither said here nor there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes it was quiet. It was things not said or that shouldn't be spoken. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, you have to decipher. I always say this, man. As a person and even as a couple, it's uniqueness. It's you pulling from what you see. You know what I'm saying? You might take some stuff from your parents. You might take some stuff from your uncle and auntie. You might take cues from a random couple at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? But you'll end up culminating your own type of love. That goes for any era, whether it be old school or new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you're navigating through this. You know what I'm saying, with your partner. So it's just one of those things. It's take something from here, take something from there, and you make it yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think also, Dan, I was sitting there listening to Frankie. Like, I think those of us who have those expectations, we got to give ourselves permission to not deny it, just to fit in or be quiet and start normalizing it, right? You think about what Frankie said. You think about what today, what examples do we have on TV of family? We had Cosby, San Francisco, all these things, like
family
I said.
Matters. And
that's what I was saying earlier. What I meant earlier, like usually people would quickly want to dispel these things to prop up and say, well, all I got is this. Like, no, it's okay if we learn from our history. Like, some of that was not all bad. Some of that was real impactful. You know, like the
Right.
conversation with Dr. Cosby. Okay, whatever he did was there, but guess what? The Cosby Show was
Mhm.
golden and still golden. Like, you cannot tell me that was the epitome, the first time we ever saw a glimpse of what we
Mhm.
wanted to be in real life on TV, right?
Yes.
But now you contrast that to, let's just keep one. And look, I love music, hip hop, and all that, but let's just keep it 100. Look at the videos today.
Yeah.
You remember there was certain thing that you dare not shown on regular TV.
Mhm.
Like there was certain context, certain word, like it was like it was a certain time after night
Yeah.
that you would
Right.
even remotely think about hearing it.
Mhm.
Now these things are in your regular commercials.
Yeah. Yep.
Think about it. It's in your cartoons,
Mhm.
right? So I always say, the only way you can overcome normalizing bad traits, we have to not just talk about what we want, we have to normalize what's good. And I think
Yeah.
that's really one of the more inner struggles. Like, we'll sit back and know it and hope it and talk about it. They ain't gonna change it, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody, all this stuff is in the videos. Like we see in social media, you turn it on. Guess what? You don't even like the person, you like the filter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, we joked about that Tuesday. You don't even know the person, you know the AI. And guess what?
Yeah.
There you go. You don't know the person. You'll never meet that person.
I want to say the thing is, people. This sometimes people do look at reality, man, and what's right in front of their face. And the problem with our community is it's too good to be true. That's a lifestyle. The Huxtables was a lifestyle. And
Mhm.
then you see later on down the line what happened to Fred, what happened to Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
It's like I don't wanna I ain't never seen that happen in the hood. But then you can also love too much of a bad thing too, like being ratchet or twerking, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. But why not aspire, to be greater? You know what I'm saying? Don't always, now and we talk about this with sports, WNBA and the viewing, you know what I'm saying? Guys love sports. So we're gonna watch our sports, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
then the women start chiming in like, hey man, we want this, we want that, and this, that, and the other. Well, you know, women will watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians before they'll go watch a WNBA game. You know what I'm saying? Or Housewives of Atlanta. They'll watch
Mhm.
that stuff. And don't get me wrong, they still 10 toes down for the WNBA players, but they don't see how they hurting them because, yeah, of course you're agreeing with them, but guess what? Go watch. Go actually spend
Yeah.
your money on the tickets and go sit and watch them.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fighting with them all day. And I see a bunch of women that I know don't watch WNBA. Time, yeah, pay them girl. Well, they could get some money if you actually go watch them instead of spending your money on, on some other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's that thing, uh, the stereotypes and all that, man. The best show, even though it was a comedy, was Everybody Hates Chris. And
Mhm.
every time he went to school, the white teacher was like, "Yeah, I know your father not." He was like, "No, my father is in that house." That was, even though it was comedy, it was still based on realism
Yes.
because
Right.
they kept stereotyping Chris everywhere he went. Like
Mhm.
his mom was just there. And he had to tell him, like, "No, man, I got both my parents. Even though I'm
Right.
in the hood, I got both my parents." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think also, in just listening to Frankie say, like, we have to quit downplaying those things where it takes work and puts accountability in the process, right? If I'm coming to the relationship and I just want some things, then I subconsciously take everything out the way where I have to be accountable. Like we were talking about in the past, like it's not a stereotype. No, those things happen, right? Like you have to address them and know that they've done wrong. But I think these days, man, it's so easy to kind of turn a blind eye to something, like what's going on, but you just want what you want, right? It's more from a selfish standpoint instead of selfless standpoint versus, okay, if we made that mistake, okay, let's talk about that, right? Like I made that mistake. Nowadays, you turn the eye, whatnot, so you never get to know who each other are. So after you get through using that person up, it's on to the next one. You know?
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the now. I know we've been kind of like bouncing between the two, but we're really going to hone in on modern love, right? So meeting people online versus in person, right? Faster pace to intimacy, less patience for long courtship, more focus on independence and personal goals. Is modern love more convenient or just more disposable? What do you guys think? Is modern love more convenient or just more disposable?
I think what this was your question on social media, if I think, but I'm gonna answer this.
Yeah.
I think it's both, right? I think it is convenient that, you know, back in the day, you only knew somebody. I mean, if you knew someone across town and want to holler at them and meet up, I mean, that was a stretch, right? So I think, in this day and time of social media, you can meet people, you have a greater pool and bring in more results, right? Because ultimately, dating is like fishing, but I digress. But at the same point in time, not to be tongue in cheek, it takes when we choose to remove that human element and not take it to that level of human element. Like, hey, do we want to meet up and interact?
Right.
You know, I think that's also the thing. And then, like we've been saying all night, we have our visuals of what it should look like. So when we meet up, I'm not looking for down. I'm looking for the visual of, you know, this Coke bottle AI image, and I never get to see you, so to speak. So I think it's pros and cons. Yeah, it is convenient that you can meet people. You know, Nikita said definitely convenient and even more disposable. But that's the tongue in cheek, right? People are not supposed to be that disposable. Like Frank said before, okay, if it didn't work, but no, you said that in Tuesday. Okay, we don't work that I went through, and now we see that's not compatible.
Right.
After first date, then go wrong, and based on who paid, you're disposed. Come on now. You know, what's the problem on hard time? You just chose the wrong time. So yeah, I think that disposable part, Nikita, I think that's the thing that's kind of like we don't vet people properly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like I said, Big Mama and them, they went through it, came out to it, and that brought them together. At least they knew where they stand. Okay, that Negro, he ain't coming home tonight. These days, man, we just throw people away, bro.
All right. What you got, Frankie?
Hey, convenient. You know, it's conveniently easy to dispose of that person if once you got what you got, the person. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what it is now. You know, what is what can you do for me instead of what can we do for each
For
other?
each other. Absolutely.
And let me say this, and let's be real. We always think about the other person, but to say right now, it take a lot out of you. Because we're gonna be real about intimacy, sex, whatever you want to call it. You're losing a piece of you every time you share that. And then when it's time for you to find your real one, you don't know what to give them because you're looking for all this energy you're putting. So, like a real conversation had to be had. Like I said, we can't downplay it unless that's what you want. If that's what you want, you sign up for it. Then say that, you know.
Right. That's why I believe wholeheartedly that communication is key, but so is comprehension. Because like you said, you can try to vet a person, right? Essentially. But we all know most times you get representative before you get the real person. So when trying to vet a person, that's why old school love was winning, because you didn't just go on a date and then bang them the same night. You get what I'm saying? You went on a date, you know what I'm saying, but you went on a couple because you needed to get to know this person. You get what I'm saying? So how could you vet somebody if date one you going home with them? You can't vet because everything that you thought you would have saw on date one is gone. Now you in love and they the greatest thing ever. And then when they break your heart, you're like, oh, you confuse me. No, you
confuse yourself.
Exactly, because you ain't wait. You just went in with the kill. You know.
And also down to your point, back in the day, you let real life play out.
Yeah.
These days, we're trying to escape the real life problem so we can throw money, time, escape, and get away from them. And so you don't know what you have into that person till you can't escape it. You don't have the money. Think about back in the day, Big Mama and them, they struggled. They went through that. Oh, I know what I have. Right? That pulled them together. So it wasn't, that's crazy when you said that like the good times pull us together today, but I think the bad times pulled us together.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Nikita, she said, I say that because from meeting someone online and not really knowing what's on the other side of that computer screen, which goes back to that catfish, and people are good at being a sheep in wolf clothing. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and that's why I say I like what you said. Is like it's a domino effect. You can't just say then that's it, right? You can't just 3 days. And like I hate that checklist. Oh, after 3. What's the Warren Frankie, the 90-day rule?
90-day rule, yeah.
Look, a brother can wait 90 damn days if that's what he wants. So it's like,
no, absolutely.
Giving them human elements. And here's what I tell people, man, everybody want to look at the happy stuff, movies and all that. I'm trying to look at the real life situation. Then I'm looking at this. How you interact, how you speak on it, what's your mannerism or whatnot. Because that's really what counts. Shit, it's easy to go out to eat with someone, have a good shit, you having a good time. Who gonna not like that? Whereas back in the day, Big Mom them, they had to go through that, right? They was invested in that. So you absolutely right. That's that old school stuff. Yeah, so it is what it is, man. It's like sometimes we got to allow ourselves to go through to see what you got. And people may say that's a waste of time, but isn't the scarier part if you don't know and you in year 5 and now shit, this motherfucker argues all the time, and this motherfucker don't know how to conflict resolution. Oh shit.
Yeah.
A couple babies on the way. Let's be, not knocking nobody, but you already got children, and now you realize you just like Frankie said, you just now learning this motherfucker parent by yelling at everybody. Did you ever talk about it, right?
Right.
Did you ever go through anything to see, oh yeah, this person like raising their voice?
All right, so this is where it gets real. Here is where old school and modern clash. Men still expected to pay for dates, but women equally building careers. Women want leadership and chivalry, but also autonomy and equality. People want loyalty, but keep options open through DMs and dating apps. So my question to you is, are these contradictions killing the dating game, or are they just growing pains in a new era? Are these contradictions killing the dating game, or are they just growing pains in a new era?
And this is where we started those your followers. let me get my follower list up because I know it's gonna be depending like on the matrix. Now look, let's talk about it.
Growing pains in a new era.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this because that's exactly what it is. Because guess what? In that other era, guess who was the breadwinner? So it's hard to go ask your grandpa, hey man, how am I supposed to do this? He wouldn't know how to function in this era. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can still get some good tidbits, a little bit good advice, but it's hard to function because guess what? Some of these ethnicities, man, that's the only person they know that's the breadwinner is the man. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a tough pill to swallow. Even when you talk to them, you know how women clutch their pearl. They might clutch they like, she what? she making more money than what? You ain't how much? You ain't working at all.
This is a good space as one of the things we talk about on this podcast to address gender bias. And I go exactly to something you said down. If you're not willing to have real conversation, then you're gonna come up with this cookie cutter shit that everybody say. Responsibilities don't come with a gender. And I'm gonna say that fly holier than thou folk. That was a standard based on culture. And I would challenge anybody to go to the Bible if we want to offline. Like that was a standard based on culture. Ultimately, if I love you and you love me, we set a foundation for works in our household. And that's why it's hard for this conversation down there because everybody take the cookie cutter. Now, if that works across the street, that works across the street. Guess what? But they don't pay the bills over here. Life situations may change. Health situations may change. So how can we approach it with this cookie cutter? And like one of our guests said, we pass this down to our kids.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why when life happened, I'm taking a round peg trying to put it in a square prong, and guess what? We don't fit together. No, the idea don't fit. So I'm passing my, we got to lay that down and like, let's normalize this conversation. Is there a standard, or even like you alluded to, Dan? Okay, you have a preference, but that's not the end all be all. We got to quit writing women and men off because that's not your preference. Move on.
Right.
But to pencil out and try to, like I say, have that gender bias. Well, I hate this term. You're not a real man. You're not a real woman, right? A woman can make more money than a man, and guess what? That is not intimidating to me. That don't mean wearing the boot. When we say all this type of is just because if a man makes more money, he don't run shit. Like, we got to lose this mindset. Because again, back in the day, Big Mama and them, everything was pulled together. You never knew how them groceries got on that table. You never knew that Big Mama took some flour, sugar, and eggs and got a nice cake in there. You never knew that.
Yeah.
You was just, and guess what? Who all at the table? Family. Right? You never who got what, and it never mattered. Family gatherings. You would think that shit, you was the Cosby's, because guess what? You never worried about that. But now that has become too much of a prerequisite, is what I'm saying, to where you don't even see or get time to vet or understand the person. Like, nah, man, let's keep it 100. What we got? Growing pains because listen, change is always going to happen. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you start out with a cookie cutter, for example, let's just say, I give up. No, I probably won't get it because she's probably watching. Let's say you have this standard that's working in the beginning, right? Hey, I want a man or I want a woman to this. What if life happens? Like, real conversation. I want a man that can give me sex this many times. Okay, what if, Lord forbid, something happened to him in an accident? You know what happened in this day society? Sometimes we throw him away. Or I got to give me somebody on the side. Like, that ain't love, y'all. So that's why that list don't make sense. Like Nikita said, life can change, but are you still going to be there? You know, Papa will go out there and guess what? Trying to find a job for a month. Big Mom just going to go in and get that flower popping. And you know what I'm saying? She ain't looking at, oh, you less than a man in the whole 9 yards. Guess what? When Papa went out there and found that job, guess what? Her grandma. Let it happen organically, like Diana was talking about when we talking about quitting. It happened organically because you went through something.
Right.
Life changes, man. That don't mean you have to throw people away.
Always. And you gotta be able to adapt.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I wanted to say something. Also to what Nikita said too is, yeah, life is gonna happen, right? And then obviously we are evolving, and obviously, as we know in this day and age currently, right, roles have reversed. There are women that are making just as much money as the man is now, and there are people who are okay with it, and there are people who aren't okay with it. But that's just life, right? But on top of that too, we're also in an era now where 2 incomes is almost certainly way better than 1. You get what I'm saying? At one point, yes, back in the day, yeah, of course, it was okay for the man to be the only one working, and mama's at home, freaking, you know what I'm saying, nurturing, making sure the house is clean, cooking, all that stuff. But man, look at where we are now. It's
79 cents.
not,
It's easy to do that.
Yeah, it's not as realistic as it was back then. So that's why most homes have 2 working adults, but there's some type of balance. Not every home obviously is able to balance, right? Some things have to kind of wither, but again, that's all a part of the growing pains, right? Because life is life, and things are changing, the world is evolving, and probably not in a good way either.
Yeah. And I love, and I'm so thankful that you brought that point. I always say there are things on here, I think, for the audience. One thing I like about you, Donnie, when you can say what if we say, because we're male, it'll be that gender bias. You're absolutely right. There are times where even in 2 nice households with incomes, it's still hard to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to, like Nikita said, we have to get out of this cookie cutter mindset. But again, if that's my intention in the beginning, I'm not seeing you anyway. So you to me, you've already failed, right? All this, hey, come healed. Don't come with promise your plan, but tell me one perfect person, right? So but like Frankie said, this is all this stuff that we've learned from social media and all these different places. Sounds good and whatnot. And then, boy, I almost said something. You walk around here, damage your damn self.
They
How
got,
you
they
want
gotta,
something that
what you
you
say? They gotta
banana
go on
king?
that healing journey.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, you up here, boy? Let me stop. Nikita say the statistics and stereotype. And when you feel a little bit, you like, oh, I'm on camera and I'm in front of these people. Let me. Nikita said the statistics and stereotypes. Some men actually don't know how to tap into their emotions because they feel and have been taught and told men don't show emotion. Absolutely right. So that's go back to what Donna said. If you have your standing, you know what you want, and you're vetting each other, you're courting each other, you may say, you know what? Are you working on that? Can we talk about it? And if that's not the case, then guess what? No harm, no foul. But you don't learn that over a damn meal with the intention is who's gonna pay for the meal and who's gonna give me some. You don't, that ain't even a topic, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I said you keep generating, and you did that 2 to 3 years, and now his lack of emotional intelligence comes up. You only had a baby by this per. It's too late. Now, so everybody going to lose. It's just about in what capacity are they going to lose, right? So you absolutely right. You got to be around people and be involved, in not just those niceties to find that out. And as Donna said, you got to know what you want. Because if you're looking at that meal and you overlooking it, this food is crazy. Well, shit, I can probably afford you just to get what I want. But if this fool crazy, now he's stalking outside your house. I hope that meal was good.
All right, so we're talking, since we're already pretty much there with as far as conflict revolution, talking about coming healed, you know what I'm saying, staying for the long time, old school, right? Keep it private, work it out no matter what. Modern day therapy, self-care, sometimes walking away. Which approach builds stronger bonds?
Give me that again. I'm sorry, Dan.
All right. So conflict resolution, right? So obviously old school was you're going to keep it private, work it out no matter what. So we're staying to the end of times, right? Whereas in modern times nowadays, you have therapy, you have self-care, and sometimes you have to walk away. So which approach is building stronger bonds? Now, is it the old school, keep it private, work it out no matter what, or modern where we're doing therapy, we're doing self-care, and sometimes we just having to walk away?
And I ain't gonna lie. Now, this is where I think the new school has the leg up, right?
Yeah,
because as we talked about in the past, there was time Big Mama should have left. There was time that Papa should have left, or y'all should have gotten out from around each other. And, you thinking about, we don't talk about it enough, but domestic violence and all that. Hey, you can't get along, get apart. But just for the sake of the family, and to me, that's loyalty, Diana. What we talk about, that one,
absolutely.
That's loyalty. These days, I do think we do a better job because of the resources, as Frankie said, things of that sort, to where, hey, we land on that couch, we go and talk, we're proactive doing that for ourselves. And to your point, we're going back and vetting it. Now, I don't have to put up with that, right? If it's damaging me mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, or financially, no, I can move around. So I do think these days we have a greater grasp on that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so also let's talk commitment and timelines, right? So for old school, it was married, you got married earlier, right? And there was less divorce. And then you have modern, right, where you're marrying later, if at all, and then more emphasis on personal growth first, right? So has this made relationships healthier or less stable? Marrying earlier, less divorce in the old school, whereas modern day, you're marrying later, if at all, and then you're also working on personal growth first before entering that type of scenario. Has this made relationships healthier or less stable?
Before we answer, let me shout out Miss Hamilton. This is a lady that you want to follow. She has a wealth of knowledge. She's a licensed therapist herself, and I just thank her for being on this. And so I definitely want to shout her out for those who take the time out their busy schedule. She is very busy, very booked, and for her to take the time out, I appreciate that. She says no relationship is the same. Different seasons will require different skills and solutions. And again, that's been echoing exactly what we said. And then we have Nikita, and you guys, thank you for chiming in this conversation. It really does make it more organic. She says depends on the couples, because you could be all for the therapy, but your person don't believe in that, but believe in keeping it private and working out. I think Diana made that point also. You can be doing your thing, but if the other person don't work, well, it's time to get up out of there.
Yeah, because even to that, right? Again, because mental health is highlighted so much more nowadays. You get what I'm saying? And therapy is extremely important for both parties to, figure out whatever the issue is. If we working out in private and it ain't working, then it sounds like we need to bring another party in there to assist us. Because people have that logic of like, oh, well, I don't want no therapist telling me, what I do. I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. Because if you knew what you were doing, we'd probably be working right now. But we're not working. So we need that extra person to come in and help us. I'm a firm believer in working it out. But us right now, we're not working it out. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Dr. Leslie, whatever, to help us. Or if you want a male doctor, okay, Dr. Brown, to come in here and help us, because me and you ain't working.
And what Debbie Allen said in a different world: relax, relate, release.
And I would even say these days, man, at least to me, I normalize that. It's like if you got your personal primary care physician, okay, you healthy. Do you got somebody who you talk to with your problem? And look, it don't even have to be professional, right?
No,
I think me and Shavar, we talked about this one time. It's like, do you have a go-to, not a yes man, or a yes woman, but do you have someone that can, the accountability partner? Like, if you don't have it in your life, I had to learn that that's not my responsibility. I'm just going to add on to that. And so I would say, even before you get in a relationship, do you know yourself first? You can't give me what you don't know about yourself. And it's not me, the doctor fix and all of that. So to me, I think, and y'all know I always say that we use words that sound good. I think that's what people mean when they say come healed. No, what they're saying, you don't have to be perfect, but come to a space where we can have conflict resolution in the event if your imperfection come out. Because I think you're the first one telling you your truth.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
She said, and be honest as well as realistic about your expectations for change. Come through. Change is hard and it takes time. We talked about that on another podcast.
Yeah.
Don't think just because we talked or you going to give people
grace overnight.
Right? See, that's that other side, right? We can have all the expectations, but understand that person not going to be fixed if they go 2 or 3 times and then that's actually it, And so you're absolutely right. Have fair expectations. And I think that's the beauty of courting, right? Kind of going back to your question, Diana, hey, is it just stay no matter what versus, hey, get up and leave? Well, look, let real life experiences dictate. Is this somebody that seems like you can do life with or not? It don't even have to make them a bad person. Now, this person is not where I'm at emotionally, right?
Right.
Nikita say, I'm not going to lie. I go to therapy and I had a man that used to ask me to do a talk to the therapist about me, and without holding hesitation, my reply was hell yeah. See, fellas, y'all missing y'all calling. Get on that couch, man. You might find, might get you a Nikita in your life. But no, I mean, but it's just like everything else. We talk about similarities and all that. Well, why that can't be something similar? I think we focus on the wrong things. When we looking for it. Do we got anything else?
And I also I think a lot of people fear self-reflection, right? They don't want to look at themselves. You know what I'm saying? So therapy gonna be out the window anyways, because they're not ready to face them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people don't want to go to therapy. Because they don't want to face them. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to sit with the ugly truth. You effed up. You effed up. Okay.
Say that again for those in the back.
This. You get what I'm saying?
We go in trying to fix the other person. We ain't even made sure that we worth a hill of beans. So you absolutely right, man. Like, let's be real. I have all these expectations, but see, that's why I say you in situations like that, down, and you're looking for something from the person, something they can do. A feeling they can give you. Because if you care about the person, it's because you have seen yourself. You will see your struggles ain't just lay on the couch and you can get up in this matrix and you actually done. So yeah, it's like we all are working probably. Don't have a bigger expectation, like I think Savara mentioned, of your mate than you do yourself, right?
Yeah. And
Queen.
again, man, I'm always a firm believer of this, man. You just like I said to begin with, man, you dip and dab or you pick and choose, man. Old school, it's probably a few things you can't get from there. Like stop putting all your business in the street. Stop putting all your business in the street. You ain't gotta and get off social media asking, you know, the entire world, what should I do about this? Close friends, I get it. Yeah, but that's a conversation to be had face to face. Stop going on live doing this and saying this, and then for most couples, it's just that one person saying their side of the story, and you really don't know both sides of the story. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I will take from the old school. You know, try to keep as much in house as you can. New school, again, which mirrors that. Don't tell the whole world. Couples therapy. Tell your therapist. Them problems are for your therapist. And again, I still understand close friends or somebody you feel might have been through or might be going through what you're going through, but still, everything don't need to be put out in these social media streets like that. You know?
And I love something Diana said, and I hope we didn't miss that when she said, even together, if we have to vet it together, okay, do you prefer a man? Like, okay, it's okay to have that conversation because that first cancer, that second may not work, but at least you're having a conversation. Yeah, so don't be afraid to have that conversation because you're right. Not every family member is clinically or professionally in a place to give you advice. Just because mama, it worked for mama and grandma, that don't mean it'll work for you, right? So sometimes having that discussion in itself is what happened. Sugar Jones said, I got married young and got divorced. I remarried with a little more experience than I had the first time. My husband, now we started with nothing and we both wanted the same thing. It was not easy. Come on, testimony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hey,
Absolutely.
and if I could chime in on this.
But we stayed together and we will have 25 years together.
Amen.
Shout out to Sugar and shout out to Papa John, man. Shout out to them too, man. She no joke, man. And God rest my father's soul. You know, it wasn't the best. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they still made things shake as parents. You know,
right.
But my mama is real living testimony, man. You know, she went through a rough patch after the divorce. I ended up going to stay with my pops. You know, and I used to tell both of them, you know, I love both of y'all equally, man. I don't want to hear about the other one. I don't want to hear about this one. You know what I'm saying? So it's she's not lying right there, man. Her and John been rocking for a long time. So shout out to both of y'all. I love you, Mom. I love you, Papa John, man.
Yeah, Mama's family. Man, we got some great comments here. Yo, that's family right there. So you know what I'm saying. You know, you can chime in when you get ready. Nick said, "People avoid that mirror." Nick, I'm gonna start running now. I'm supposed to be on this podcast. You up here preaching. People avoid that mirror like it's about to charge them rent. That's a bar right there. I'm gonna go.
That's a whole bar.
That type of bar, Nikki.
That's a whole bar.
That's all. Say, let's raise our offering. We're gonna shut it down for that. That is so true. We are great lawyers for ourselves, but we are perfect judges for other people. And that's something that I think we do not recognize a lot that we're doing, right? We are throwing good people away. They're turning to hurt people, and then they eventually hurt people. So it's a vicious cycle, right? So when we say throw away, again, going back to what Donna said, we done vetted, we done courted. We done came to that solid conclusion. We're not talking about, like I said, 2 or 3 days. Well, you know what? The bill was only $100. You know what? You just go on about your business. I keep having to cut my mouth. We got Mom on here. Miss Hamilton say, I agree.
Man, go on, say what you got to say.
No, Miss Hamilton, you say, I agree, Frank, because you will be in the group chat. I literally had to tell someone a few weeks ago that I wasn't the best person to discuss their relationship problems due to my own biases. Everyone would not have that level of honesty and transparency. Look, and I love she put that in there because a lot of times we think, and it kind of go back to what Donna said, oh, you're a therapist, you should help me. So we force it.
Right.
It makes them a bad therapist. And this is the conversation. Right. Then we have Frankie, like, it's not don't believe in mental wealth or mental health. No, that person just not aligned. And I love that transparency because Survivor works in the field. No, your job is to go find the help you need, right? Because if I done been through something and I pull my personal biases into my help, I'm probably not going to be best effective to talk to you about your problem. And so that's why I like what you said, Donna, when you said, no, have that conversation. What are you all both looking for and trying to get out? Are you just looking for yes men, then throw therapy away?
Hey,
but
right.
Diana.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. I like that, Frankie.
That is terrible.
You're going to tell these people, some of these people don't want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Your closest friends are waiting for those type of questions because guess what?
Absolutely.
They want you right there with you. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm telling everybody your business. You know?
And here's the thing, Frankie, gender bias is real. That's why we talk about it. Gender bias is real, and depending on what side you're standing for, you could not be getting best advice. You could just be getting, like she said, the information we talk in the group chats about, right? Where we can speak freely because there are no rules. So yeah, you even with that situation right there, you have to vet it. You have to vet your information properly. But again, it starts back like we've been talking all night. If y'all not having conversations, like I know a young lady reached out to me. She done already drew her conclusion about her husband. She called me, hey, can you talk to my husband? No, ma'am, I can't. First of all, I like life. Because I know if my wife came to me about another man you and I already talked to about, what y'all been talking about? Have them conversations together. My fault. Nikita says, so true. And you also just can't just go to any therapist either. You have to find a therapist that fits you. Look, that's so true. And y'all, I know I'm on my soapbox a little bit, but I'm passionate about people getting help. They got all type of information here online where, like Diana said, if you want a male, if you want someone in your race, if you want someone a certain age, and all that matters, right? Because sometimes an old school person wants you to do it the old school way. That's not me. So they have plenty of resources. I want everybody watching this not to downplay or dismiss because I didn't find that first one or that second one. Just like you have to do work in that relationship, you have to do work with the tools to make that relationship go. So that's not an excuse. Sometimes you have to go through those changes and just be honest and say, okay, that therapy's not working. But hell, if one restaurant serve me bad food, that don't mean I don't eat at restaurants no more.
Right.
That's not realistic. So I'm glad you guys are making this point right here.
Yeah. So on top of that too, with the whole finding the right therapist too, right? So yes, you do need to make sure you find the right therapist, right? But what I've also learned with people is sometimes they don't like what the therapist is saying. So they just want to keep shifting because the therapist is literally telling them like, hey man, you really is kind of messed up with whatever scenario. I don't like you. Next, you know what I'm saying? Because they want somebody that's going to agree with literally everything that they're saying. So yes,
he always agreeing with
the right fit, but let's make sure it's realistic. They're not feeding your delusion,
Right. And Dan, I'm finna just gonna lose the last 5 friends I got. I've been monitoring it. Let's be real also about this too. As we talk about therapists, there's some of my religious leaders that are not the best people to go talk to too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we have different version of religion that we try to enforce, and that's your thought, your belief, but that don't mean it work for you. So I think we also have to put that on the table. I ain't gonna have no friends. I hope Mark Zuckerberg don't leave me. But yeah, let's put that out there.
Yeah, you still got Tom from MySpace.
Family church for years. I have my bias. I've been knowing mama and them, grandma and them going here. So guess what? Everything they say is sliced bread. I don't know them folks like that.
Yeah.
And I don't like them like that. So yeah, let's talk about it, man. Make sure you're getting the help that you need. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. All right. So here's the truth. Most people want love that feels safe, exciting, and sustainable. The problem is we're not always clear on which parts of old school or modern fit our values. So if you had to design your own blueprint for love, what would you keep from the past and what would you reinvent for today? Most people want love that feels safe, exciting, and sustainable. The problem is we're not always clear on which parts of old school or modern fit our values. If you had to design your own blueprint for love, what would you keep from the past and what would you reinvent for today?
Jesus Christ. Nikita said, let me get her comment in. She said, you also have to be willing to tell your truth and be open to really deal with your issues.
Absolutely.
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 Transparency is key. You can go to count for 20 years. If you're lying for 20 years, it ain't gonna work.
Right, exactly. Facts.
Down that's a hard one. I think overall the commitment from the past, right?
Yeah.
Through the ups and downs, good, bads, and indifference. But I also think the evolution of the help that you don't have to do it by yourself for that immediate family.
Yes.
I think if we took that commitment there and now take advantage of there is amazing resources out here.
Yeah.
I think those would be the two components that I would take.
Okay.
But that's a tough one.
Yeah, I know it was, I figured y'all would like it,
Yeah.
Let me see. Like I said, man, old school. I don't want everybody in my business like that. You know what I'm saying? And I will take a trait, but I'll put an asterisk by the perseverance of the relationship. Now, not saying if the relationship is sour or abusive or anything like that, but the perseverance as in falling out of love, finding it again over years, to that nature. Nothing too big, but a lot of insignificant things that might go unchecked to become big things per se. But I would take the perseverance. New school, the therapy, because that will help with the perseverance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So therapy, most deaf with that, and being able to compromise or and most people have to realize this, yin and yang, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What I lack, I would love my mate to have. And what she lacks, I would love to have her back on that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I say, yin and yang, opposites do attract. And again, like I said, you like and Jay alluded to, when you go talk to these pastors or your loved ones, your family members, be mindful of the questions you ask and the answers that you want to get. You know what I'm saying? Because even though somebody might think that person not a good fit for you, like I said, they yin match your yang.
Yeah.
And then you'll get rid of them and be lacking in that area that you were so confident in, because guess what? They had your back. But you couldn't see past this person telling you that or that person telling you this. You know what I'm saying? So I say those are the things that I would keep.
Nikita says that she believes that you should leave your past in the past, but make sure you take the lessons with you. Otherwise, you're just walking around empty-handed.
Amen.
That's a mic drop right there.
Come on, sis.
Yes.
Come on, sis.
Let me find out your poet and she
Come on, sis.
What them young people do?
You better clap it.
Put that back up. Hey, I would. That's a mic drop right there. Hey, sounds so good. I'm gonna read it again. She said, "I believe you should leave your past in the past, but make sure you take the lessons with you. Otherwise, you just walking around empty-handed. All y'all empty-handed people out there, that's for you. That's a mic drop right there. That's what they call it.
Yeah. I gotta do what my daughters be doing. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
All right.
Donna, what you think?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to throw you out, but I'm interested. What you think? If you could take the good from the old, and now what would you say?
This ain't about me. You know what I'm saying?
This ain't my time.
You can't do that.
I'm the moderator, okay? I think I done said enough.
Next
you know what I'm
time.
saying? I done said enough.
She pulled a card on your boy.
Because if I go in on this, we're gonna be here all night. So let's go ahead and let me just,
Hey,
you know,
I ain't running up.
Don't
I ain't
even.
running up.
At the end of the day, love evolves because people evolve. There's nothing wrong with wanting old school commitment in a modern setting, but we have to be clear, intentional, and willing to meet each other in the middle. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to want to be here next week when we talk. Can you really have it all? Peace, success, love, parenting, or are we all just tired? Whether you're old school, new school, or somewhere in between, remember, the best love is the one you build with mutual respect, honesty, and effort. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about figuring out what works for you in love. Whether you value tradition, modern communication, or a mix of both, the key is intentionality. Love evolves, but respect, communication, and effort never go out of style. Thanks for joining the Unfiltered Kings and the Queen podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next week as we dig into another hot topic. And remember here, nothing's off the table.
Unfiltered,
Love you
baby.
all. You have a wonderful
Thank you for all the
evening.
comments.
Thanks for all the comments and joining in and all that good stuff. We love
Appreciate
you
y'all,
all.
man.
Remember,
Appreciate
like, share, subscribe,
all that
and
good
please
stuff.
come back next week because if you think this
TikTok,
topic was crazy,
Instagram,
man,
Spotify, Apple Music,
Apple Music,
everything they
Amazon
saying.
Music,
just
wherever
follow
you
us.
looking
You
for
know
a
what I'm saying?
podcast.
All that. All right,
man, next time y'all take it easy, man. Thank y'all for joining. Really.
Love y'all, man.